Last year, I saved all of my yarn ends, and I have them all in this little bin. Now I hear you asking, Shai, why on earth would you save all of your yarn ends? Why, to make yarn with, of course. Hiya besties, and welcome to another video on my channel. Today we are gonna do a bunch of spinning, including, but not limited to, making yarn out of yarn ends, because I also need an excuse to spin up some wool from my stash, because it's soon time for this year's Wool Festival road trip. But most importantly, I have decided to start a project where every year I save my yarn ends so I can then reprocess it and spin it into little mini skeins to represent the year that just was, and I'm starting it this year. Then what we'll do with them after that step, I do not know, but probably like granny squares or knitted squares, and we're making something with it in the future, I think. So we're in the new year. I'm about to finish some projects soon. I need to be able to put the yarn ends in this one, so I think we should start this project today. I also want to spin. I want to show you what I want to spin. I also really want to spin up this braid of fluff. It's just so pretty and I'm craving making something out of this. So we are going to be working on this one and the yarn ends, and then we'll see. If we have more time, we might start something else as well, but we shall see. But yeah, we have our work cut out for us today, so why don't we get going and start spinning. Here's my container of yarn ends and my pair of carders. This is what I will use to fluff up my yarn into spinnable fibre. It's amazing how an entire year's worth of yarn ends can fit into such a small container, but let me tell you, it is packed. I will try to keep the colour order the same as it came out of the container, as this goes from January all the way through December, from what was in the bottom to the very top, and I think that will be fun to maintain in the yarn. Carders are pretty sharp and I don't want to rip a bunch of holes in my clothes, so I will go ahead and put on an apron with ponies on it, of course. I decided to use this undyed cormer as sort of a base for my yarn to make it a little more cohesive and soft, because I want it to be soft. Then I just load up my carder with wool and yarn ends and get to carding. I also decided I wanted to add some sparkle throughout my yarn, so I will be adding some pink Angelina fibre to every rowlag, because why not? It's been ages since I last did any carding, so I felt kinda rusty at first, but I soon got in a good rhythm with it, and so made my way through the fibre and yarn ends pretty quickly. They all came out so different to each other, but oh my goodness, I am excited to spin these. I will be spinning them on my antique spinning wheel in the same chronological order. Scrappy spins like these always end up with lots of different textures, and each new rowlag has something new going on to the last one, so this spin was so much fun to see grow. I am kicking myself for starting this spin on the bobbin I have on the wheel though. I will be plying this yarn and this specific bobbin does not fit my lazy Kate. It also doesn't fit as much yarn as my other two bobbins do, so I'm making a mental note here that I need to start my spin on my other bobbins next time I spin something. But either way, I filled the bobbin. I kind of maxed it out to be honest. But now it is time to ply the yarn. For this one, my plan is to chain ply so I can once again maintain the chronological order of the color changes. And I think this is the first time I've managed to get a perfect rhythm with my chain plying on the wheel. Usually I am better at doing this with a spindle and I kind of had to pause a lot when spinning on the wheel, but this time it worked out really well. I ended up switching what hand did what motion and that just kind of clicked for me and I'm really happy. Now I want to chain ply all the yarns. The yarn is coming out kinda chunky and with lots of texture in places. I made a mini skein like this in the past as well, which turned out kind of ugly but also really fun. And this one follows that sort of vibe. But that's the charm with scrappy yarn, right? My goal here is to showcase the colours I used in a year, not make a perfect factory-like yarn. But that's my two bobbins done. Now I'll just make them into a skein real quick. And there we go. 2025 in yarn form. It's a busy yarn, but I'm honestly so happy with the result. And I can't wait to do this project again next year. But this spin required a lot of planning and thinking. Now I kind of want to just vibe. I need to clear out some space in my wool stash, like I mentioned in the intro, and this pink and yellow wool is next up on my spin list. My wool stash is honestly overflowing, and this one didn't fit in the crate it lives in, so it gets to go first. Plus, it's so perfectly pink, I just kind of felt like it. Also, I wish I could convey this through the screen, but I think this has been washed with something rose scented because it has an ever so faint scent of roses to it. Absolutely lovely. This one I'm not planning at all, I'm just dividing up the braid for an easier time working. I'll just spin until I've spun it all up and then decide on how I'm plying it. And oh my goodness, this was a dreamy spin. I think this is merino. Either way, I was able to properly unlock another thing that didn't really click for me before. A long draw. Or at least I think that's what I've been doing with this one. Yay for skill upgrades. Normally I do some sort of combination draw, mostly forward. So it was really fun to spin in a different way this time. But that's these two bobbins filled. Now I shall do something I don't normally do and let these actually rest on the bobbins. Partly because I want to finish this in a time and need to decide how I am plying it, and partly because I have the itch to spindle spin. I have this bag, actually 2 of them, of lavender and pink merino. It's about 25 grams per bag and I think this will work for me. The spindle weighs next to nothing. It's a 3D printed one, so let's give it a go. My hands don't do super well with spindle spinning as I have hypermobile EDS, and especially my thumb base joint will go all sorts of places once the spindle gets a little bit too heavy. But I think this is gonna be fine. It's been ages since I last spun on a spindle, but it came right back to me, and I had so much fun with this. I'm trying for a very thin yarn though, so I realised after a while that this is going to take way longer than I have time to film for this video. But hey, we got this far today, and I will make my work easier for next time by dividing up the fibre into manageable nests. So, besties, what do we think? It feels kind of unusual for me to have just one finished skein at the end of a video, but I am very happy with what we have here today. I got my sparkle back for spindle spinning. I had a couple of techniques kind of randomly just click for me, and we did the 2025 skein. And I made a start on cleaning out my stash. I wouldn't call it a dent, it's just a start, so expect another spinning video pretty soon, because oh my goodness, I need to get some of the stash spun up. And I also need to start using my hand spun this year. Like, does anyone else have this problem? Spinning is so much fun, and there are so many fun wool braids and stuff, so I just end up spinning 100 grams here, 100 grams there. All the skeins are totally different, and then I never make anything with them because they're, again, totally different. I'll be going on the annual wool road trip soon, and this year I will try to only buy wool in amounts that I can actually use for something. I will figure something out to do with all of the hand spun though. It'll be fine, it'll be good. But yeah, what did we think about today's projects? I think I love the pink spin the most, even though it's not finished, because I just love the colours so much. But I'm also really glad I did the Scrappy 2025 skein. It's so fun, and I can't wait to actually work with this. And we got a good amount of yarn actually out of those yarn ends. I think my plan is to eventually make a blanket. Maybe I can actually also use other hand spun for like mixing up the squares, because I'm thinking squares, either knitted or crocheted squares. Maybe I can actually mix it up with some hand spun. I'll think about that. But yeah, super happy with today's project at least. But now I want to hear from you. What have you been working on today? Have you ever tried spinning, or have you ever tried making scrappy yarns? Let me know in a comment down below, and if you don't feel like chatting, that is completely, totally fine too. Go ahead and leave some flower emojis this time around, because this reminds me of cherry blossoms. We're in that part of winter where I miss spring. I just want to see flowers. So yeah, comment some flowers down below in case you don't feel like chatting. And while you are in the comments, please also take a teeny tiny second to like the video if you liked it, as that helps me out a ton. Thank you. Also, if you are new here, hi. Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for clicking on this face and watching all the way to the end of the video today. If you are new and you would like to keep seeing what I get up to here on the channel in the future with my videos, please consider clicking the subscribe button down below, and also ring the bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. I post all kinds of fun things like knit and crochet challenges, project videos like we did today, cozy crafting live streams, and more. So if any of this sounds like something for you, please feel free to stick around and join the little cozy crafting club we got going here on the channel. Also feel free to check out the links in the description. We have a Discord for subscribers, and channel memberships are also open if you'd like to leave some extra support for me and what I do here. You can also find links to my patterns and shops on Ravelry and Ko-fi down in the description. But yeah, this has been a lot of talking, and I shall let you go and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you all so very much for watching today and for hanging out with me to make some spinning projects and scrappy yarn, and I will see you again very, very soon in my next video. You guys take care now. Bye!